Hello, welcome to AC's 8-Bit Zone. This is going to be a short video about installing a GIME-Z in a Color Computer 3. This CoCo 3 belongs to a customer who wants to have the GIME-Z installed. They had a Cloud9 2 MB memory upgrade, and they have the protector board with MMU built in and a 6309 upgrade. We're not going to need to use the MMU of the protector, but we can leave the protector in place. Okay, so right off the bat, one thing about this CoCo 3 is it has the larger diameter electrolytic cap that's probably going to be in the way. If you're lucky, you may have one of the smaller diameter caps, and it may even be leaning a little bit to the side, and in that case you can just sort of bend it over if it's not already out of the way. But in this case, I think we're going to have some interference. Yeah, that capacitor is definitely going to be in the way, so we're going to remove that and install the replacement cap. This replacement electrolytic cap will come with the GIME-Z kit. It's 100 microfarad, 25 volt, but the original one was 16 volt. 16 volt is enough, and 25 volt is okay too. It is recording. What you doing?
Just want to see what you're doing.
Yeah, this is my first video in, it's going to be a year and a half, is it?
Wow.
I think. You want to do something in a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't be long now.
Alright.
Okay, about the green jumper. The green jumper stays on if you have old legacy DRAM. So if you have the original 128K or the 512K old style legacy DRAM, you'd leave the jumper on. And the only thing the jumper does is it disallows the GIME-Z to go into the 3.2x turbo clock mode, or the 2.86 megahertz clock. So it just prevents that if you have old slow DRAM. Otherwise, if you have a memory board upgrade, now the MMU is expanded in the GIME-Z, so it accesses the full 2 megabytes. So we won't be using the MMU capabilities of the protector board anymore. We'll just go ahead and reinstall the 6309 at this point. Trap the cable in there. Let me pull that back out. One thing to note is there is a tiny overlap here of the two boards, but the MMU, but the 6309 protector board is usually up on a extra riser, so it's just a little bit higher up off the CoCo main board. So there's no interference there. Okay, now we remove the jumper because we want to access higher than 512K. We don't need the jumper anymore. And we're going to move the 4-pin ribbon cable to the 4-pin header. Okay, if you have another style of memory upgrade that only has a 2-pin ribbon, then that's okay. You would just install the ribbon on the rightmost 2 pins, and you would leave the left 2 pins unconnected. They're just extra grounds. And this style board has a couple of extra ground wires in this cable. So that's okay. Those grounds are optional. At this time, we can go ahead and pre-insert the 2-pin wire. This will go to the connector board push button. The push button currently just cycles through the different artifact modes. It's probably better if we install the FFC ribbon cable before this cable. So let's pull that back off. So here's the FFC. We want to install the cable with the blue tape facing up. So it'll go in like that. Okay, I'm going to zoom in tight on this. Okay. So very gently, just lift the little gray, plate up. Okay, you're going to bring the cable in, and you'll feel it go into a little bit of the pocket there, it bottoms out, and just close the cover, or just close the latch. Okay, I'm actually going to tilt this toward me, double check that I got it all the way in. Yes. So with this out of the way, so you can see I'm all the way out there. In fact, maybe if I If I use tweezers, you can see a little bit better. Okay, so here I'm out. I'm just going to go in. Now I felt it bottom out. I'll just hold it there and latch shut. And because I'm like a check 3 times kind of a person, I just wanted to keep checking. Okay, then here goes the memory cable. Okay. Okay, so we have the FFC ribbon cable and we have the 2-pin DuPont cable that are going to go to the remote connector board. And I might as well just show you that connector board now. We won't connect it yet because I'm going to install the connector board in the CoCo case first, but it would go, again, blue tape facing up. It would go in, we would bottom out into the back of the connector. So there we're out, there we're in, all the way in, and we would just lower the latch. And then we would connect the 2 pins onto the 2-pin header in either order. Order doesn't matter. Okay, at this point we'll go install the connector board into the case of the CoCo. Here are some things we're going to need for installing the connector board. Some coarse sandpaper, a popsicle stick, and the drill bit sizes of either, this one's either about 5/30 seconds. I'm sorry, this one's, what is this one? This one's 3/16 or 13/64 would work. 5/30 seconds, 1/8, and then a small pilot drill bit, a nail or a punch, X-Acto knife or a utility blade, some super glue, some snips, the template that comes with it. You can probably want to cut that down to something like this so that we can place this where we want it on the case. Okay, and we're only going to drill a few holes. We're going to drill 1/8 inch here and here for mounting. That's going to be for these 2 threaded fasteners. And then we're going to drill for 1 button, push button, and that's the 5/30 seconds bit. You may need to round that out just a little bit more, to ream that out just a bit larger if you experience a binding push button. And then we're going to drill 3 holes approximately here, here, and here. Just 3 holes inside the HDMI connector opening. That'll look something like this, like here, here, and here. Those are either 13/64 or, like I said here, I think this is a 3/16. Yeah, it's a 3/16. And so that's all the holes we're going to drill. Okay, we're going to create a little file. If you have a nail file, that would also work. Okay. Put some super glue on the popsicle stick. Press and hold for 15 seconds. Okay, that's ready to go now. Okay, now I'm going to make a little overhanging platform here that the case can just hang on, such as this. This piece of wood will fit between the two screw posts. So that is 9 inches will do, or 22 and a half, 23 centimeters will be fine. Okay, we're gonna mount this right here with a couple of clamps. And this is just going to give me a stable little overhanging platform to work from for the drilling and the filing. Okay, so for me, the preferred location is right about here. And one thing to watch out for is I don't like to drill through these two ribs. So make sure you're just inside, centered between the rib here and the rib here. Okay, and you can tell those ribs are just under here beside the cassette port and just here between these two openings. Okay, so if we center the template between here and here, we'll dodge those ribs. And that way these two screw holes right here won't try to be going through those reinforcement ribs. Okay, and I line up usually with the little what do you call this? I line up with this little raised portion. A line there. I've already poked holes through the template, so I'm going to mark there, 3 places for the HDMI connector, and then for the push button, mounting holes. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now let's dimple the surface with the nail. You can lightly tap with a hammer, because this is barely denting the plastic. You can also use a metal marking punch. I'm just not going to press fully. Just going to dimple the surface. Okay. Now a small pilot bit. I think this was probably 1/16. With this plastic, it's actually more effective to drill slowly. Here I could just barely run the drill and it still cuts quite nicely. Yeah, so slow and easy is best on this plastic. Now I'm going to step up to 1/8 inch and drill the 2 mounting locations on either end. Easy does it. Don't be worried about working in this plastic. It is not one bit brittle. It's easy to work, it's soft, drills nicely. Stepping up now to, I believe I said 3/16. Yes, 3/16. I'm sorry, this one is 5/32. So 5/32. I'm going to drill for the switch. That's here. And finally, the larger size, either 13/64 or 3/16. Okay. Chew out the pieces in between. Okay, I reposition there, get a little bit better view of this. Okay. Okay, let's mark the plastic that let's mark the plastic that needs to be filed away. Okay, something like that. We'll check a couple of times, we'll file, we'll check, and creep up on it. Another thing that will help is to take the utility blade and do a little bit of the first work. Maybe get into these two corners a little bit. Go. Okay, I'm going to file a little bit, smooth things out. I've used a Dremel before to do this, and it works wonderfully as well. I'm just using the sandpaper to show that it can be done this way and still look good. Okay, I want to go into that corner a little bit more. The blade is best for that. Okay, let's just do a check. I know it won't fit yet. Let's just see how far off we are. I need to do a little work here and here in there. Okay, let's check our progress. Okay, need a touch there and then all along the bottom. Okay, that's going to be pretty close. Okay, it is fitting through now. Just double check that the screws are lined up. Okay. The push button seems to be working, clicking without interference. Okay, we might be good there. Okay, but don't put it in yet. Let's back it out one more time. And two things we have to do. Clean off any leftover Sharpie marks. And let's pre-install the ribbon cable. So here we are, blue tape up. Okay, we're bottomed out right there. That's all you gotta do. In, latch it closed. And this is an optional step. You can place a piece of tape over the latch mechanism. Completely optional. It holds well enough without it. Okay. Let's reinstall the CoCo board. Support underneath the board. Press the connector. leave these two screws relatively loose, tighten them, alternating back and forth, keeping the board very parallel with the case, the back of the case. So just keep the board relatively in line with the case. These shouldn't be extremely tight, just snug. And these DuPont wires are not fitting tightly enough, so I'm going to put a small bend in the header wire in the header. Okay, they seem to want to stay a little bit better now. Okay, looking good. Double check the button. Presses without interference. If you do get interference, you can always open up the hole a little bit.